Last week, Donald Trump said that he hoped that Russia would hack into Hillary Clinton's email server to find the 30,000 personal emails Clinton famously deleted.
Russia, if you're listening, I hope you're able to find the 30,000 emails that are missing. I think you will probably be rewarded mightily by our press.
The fact that Trump would commit a crime by calling on a foreign government to commit an act of espionage against the United States raises more than a few questions. Questions like, why would anyone vote for this person? Or, is Trump a Russian agent? Trump later backtracked and shifted blame for the previous hack away from Russia to China.
And that's why, if it is Russia, nobody even knows it's probably China.
Which is exactly what someone who's working for Russia's best interests would do. Not to mention that blaming China without a shred of proof is absolutely preposterous and probably a dangerous indication of how a President Trump would handle foreign policy. It's so batshit insane that it's also the plot point in Veep Season 5. According to satellite images, reporters on the ground, and the US government, and virtually every other possible source out there, Russia has forcefully taken over and annexed the territory of Crimea from Ukraine. But not according to Trump, who said that Russia is not in Ukraine and has no designs on invading Ukraine. Trump has also talked about dismantling the NATO, the multinational force tasked with containing Russian expansion and a linchpin of US global strategy many times over. Outside of Russia, Trump's foreign policy positions remain free of all details. He has said he won't disclose how he'll fight ISIS because he doesn't want to give anything away. He's also said that he will solve the Israeli-Palestinian conflict. How? Well, he won't say that either, but claims he can do it because he's such a great negotiator. Yet when it comes to Ukraine, the RNC platform is notably more specific, advocating only non-lethal interference by the United States in that conflict. Why are they so vague about foreign policy everywhere else, but so explicit about not intervening in Ukraine? Trump's position on Ukraine should also be viewed in light of the Trump's campaign's hiring of Paul Manafort, the favorite cleanup guy for many of the world's worst dictators over the past 30 years, and former campaign advisor to Bob Dole, Ronald Reagan, and George H.W. Bush. Manafort's roster of foreign clients reads like literally the starting five for anti-democratic sentiment, with names like Filipino dictator Ferdinand Marcos, or the Democratic Republic of Congo's Mobutu Sese Seko, or the Saudi Arabian government, or Angolan guerrilla leader Jonas Savimbi, or the recently ousted Ukrainian ex-president, which you may know as Viktor Yanukovych, who famously asked Putin to invade his country, and then he promptly fled to Russia. So, Manafort is perfectly suited for a man like Trump. And this is troubling, but also unsurprising. After all, Trump is frequently praised and received praise from other dictators like Putin and Kim Jong-un. He's also time and time again mentioned how he appreciates Saddam Hussein. And Manafort is a man so passionate about Trump's campaign that sources close to the matter have claimed that he's working for free. So I wonder what kind of other reasons Manafort may have. Now, his ties to Russia run much deeper than Trump's. In a super detailed report, Michael Iskoff lays out Manafort's business dealings with pro-Putin oligarchs like Deripaska, a man who hasn't been allowed to enter the States since 2006 after an FBI request to revoke his visa due to allegations of bribery, corruption, and ties to organized crime. So, the vodka icing on this Russian cake is that Trump continues to lie about his ties to Russia, mentioning it only to express admiration for their fearless leader, Putin. Not only has Trump lied about meeting Putin various times in the past, including in the 60 Minutes green room when the two were actually continents apart, but he's also lied about working with famous Russian oligarchs who have close ties to Putin's government, including one effort to bring the Miss Universe pageant to Moscow, as well as countless, mostly failed, real estate ventures going back nearly 30 years. Even his son explicitly mentioned in the past that they have a lot of dealings with Russia. So why does Donald seem so interested in cozying up to Putin? Well, maybe he just wants to be besties with Putin and thinks this is the way to do it. Since, you know, bringing Miss Universe to Moscow didn't really work. Or maybe Trump is planning to be America's first dictator and he knows that he'll need tips from someone with a lot of experience. Someone like Putin. Or, more likely by cozying up to Putin, Trump is keeping his eye on the long-term prize. Because whether he wins or loses the presidential race, Trump Inc. will still need financial help from Russian oligarchs who've been propping up his businesses for more than a decade, ever since the US banks blackballed him as too much of an investment risk. And 4 bankruptcies will do that to you. And Trump's long-term business success is much more important to him than some petty concern over Ukraine, Russian expansion into the Baltics, or whether, as a dangerously uninformed presidential candidate, he could unwittingly start World War III.